Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for today. So let's talk about the Hindenburg short selling report with regards to Block. Now, of course, if you've never heard about Hindenburg, they are short sellers. They come out with reports every now and then. I think since 2020, they had around 16 companies that they were going after. One of those is Nikola, so of course, that one was a bullseye, but I think everybody could have come out with a short report on Nikola. Not that difficult. They also came out with something with regards to an Indian company or an Indian service or whatnot, not so long ago. So, okay. Sometimes they do come out with some good research, but a lot of the time it's a lot of fancy words, very, very extreme, such as right now in this report. I think they mentioned the word fraud around 120 times or something like that. Of course, these are big accusations, and that's why I've waited until Block responded themselves. So Block said that they intend to work with the SEC and explore legal action against Hindenburg Research for the factually inaccurate and misleading report they shared about our Cash App business today. It says here our Cash App business today, which means that probably some things that they did mention in the report actually happened and were factually correct, maybe at the start. Just putting it out there. Hindenburg is known for these types of attacks, which are designed solely to allow short sellers to profit from a declined stock price, which is true. They were short Block when they released this report, so obviously they benefited from the price going down around 20% when the market opens, close around 12 to 14% or so. We have reviewed the full report in the context of our own data and believe it's designed to deceive and confuse investors. We are a highly regulated public company with regular disclosures and are confident in our products, reporting, compliance programs, and controls. We will not be distracted by typical short seller tactics. Okay, remains to be seen if they actually do seek legal action against Hindenburg and what the results of that will be. Now, let me make something clear. As someone that has been long Square since 2019, of course, we've seen the decline in stock price. We've also seen the rise in stock price. But one thing I've been saying in the last, 10 videos or so with regards to Block is that I said Jack Dorsey is not fit to be CEO of a publicly traded company. I don't care if he started that company. He's just not fit to be CEO of a publicly traded company anymore. We've seen this with the mismanagement at Twitter, and I say mismanagement because it's way worse than that, and now with the mismanagement of Block as well. I think he should just resign, or we should just vote him out, replacing with either the CFO or one of the two guys from Afterpay. I've been saying this for a couple of videos now. You can go and verify that if you want. Of course, in this report, there are some things that really you think that this report was written by a 12-year-old. I mean, when they talk about the rap songs, to me, it blows my mind that these people are actually have no issues of putting this report public. Just reading it sounds extremely ridiculous. But there are some other things that they mention in this report, which to me blows my mind that is actually allowed at Block or Cash App site of the company. Blows my mind that you can have a card, a cash card with the name Donald J. Trump on it. And nobody bats an eye. It's mind-blowing. So we're going to go over, to me, the main points of this report. Of course, I'm still long the company. I don't intend on selling shares just because of this short selling report. But yes, there are some things here that maybe the company should tackle. There are some things here that even in the report, they show this is what it was before and this is how it is right now, which is okay. So what's the issue? Just because a couple of years before they did something wrong and now they corrected it? I don't see the problem here. Every new high-tech company makes some mistakes at first and then corrects it, and we go on from there. I mean, you're going to have a look at most of the report in this video. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and if you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor and make sure to share your thoughts down in the comments below when it comes to this report. So of course, they start the report off with a ton of bullet points, which basically summarizes a little bit everything they're going to say below it. But I've already highlighted some of the things here which I'm going to show you right now. So part 1. Block's embrace of a key unbanked customer base, criminals. Bam, already extreme, going to the extreme. Block has positioned itself as a mission-driven company serving the unbanked and others who have been left behind by the traditional banking system. So of course, we know Square's mission, economic participation for everyone, serving the unbanked, those that usually don't get a bank account at your traditional banks. Okay, that's their mission. Now, saying that their customer base is just criminals, to me, just makes no sense. Why would anyone read past this when this headline right here is already so sensational and probably factually incorrect? That's saying that customer base, criminals. Are some criminals using Cash App? 100%. Aren't most criminals using US dollars? Cash? I don't know, Venmo? Some other apps? Of course they are. Of course they are. Crypto? I mean, there's a new technology come out. Of course, people that want to trick the system are going to trick the system. This is just the way things work. And they think they just, I don't know, discovered the light here. To me, really discredits the whole report already at the start. But let's continue. Sensational headline number 2. Every criminal has a Square Cash App account, according to a former employee. The signs are hard to miss. There's even a gang named after Cash App, with members arrested for fentanyl distribution. Again, what does this have to do with the way the company is generating revenue, profit, margins, whatever? Because there is a gang named after a product that they offer, this is the company's fault? This is getting ridiculous. And I'm not even getting at the most ridiculous part is that they're going to go over a whole section when it comes to rap songs and rappers. It's completely ridiculous. And again here, former employee. What did that employee actually do at Square Block? Was he or she important? Does she actually know what he's talking about? We don't know. And to say again, every criminal has a Square Cash App account is probably factually incorrect. Then we have here CEO Jack Dorsey found it pretty incredible that Cash App is mentioned in hundreds of hip-hop songs as a measure of its reach. Many of these songs describe the role of Cash App in facilitating criminal activities, including murder for hire, of course. Okay, so first up, number 1 here, yes, it's true, Jack Dorsey said that he found it pretty incredible that pop culture acknowledges Cash App and puts it in their songs. Of course, we know that they acquired Tidal, pretty good friends with Jay-Z as well. Okay, this is something that you could expect him to say. And then, many of these songs describe the role of Cash App in facilitating criminal activities, including murder for hire. I mean, these guys literally probably never heard a rap song in their life. Most rap songs, especially these days, aren't about paintings in the Louvre or some scientific discovery, right? Most of the rap songs are about maybe heartbreak, drugs, war, gun violence, murder. And maybe sometimes something else. But let's be honest, those are the main topics of those songs. And just because they mention Cash App in those songs, does it mean that suddenly Cash App is at fault here? No. And does it mean that some of these criminals, yes, do use Cash App for, I don't know, drug selling, murder for hire apparently? Maybe, but I'm sure they're also using other services out there. Then, this is the funniest part of the report. They actually go over some video clips of a song called Cash App and what they say in that song, some tweets about it, etc., etc. Of course, these rappers, they got arrested, they go in jail for fraud, for drugs, for murder, or whatnot. But again, this just, where's the link here? Why do they link rap songs to the way a business is operating, to where investors should be worried that Cash App is mentioned into a rap song? I just don't get the point here. And they're basing their short report here a lot on that fact that rappers use Cash App in their songs. Okay. Anyways, part number 2. Block has allowed fraudulent accounts to proliferate on Cash App, generating illegitimate revenue and exaggerating user metrics. Okay, so here we can already start to semi-agree with what they're saying. So they continue by saying here, Cash App claims to have 80 million annual transacting active users, a highly inflated number given evidence of massive user duplication on the platform. Okay, so maybe this is the first time that they actually look at a metric called active users or transacting active users and then duplication on a platform, because probably every other platform out there, people have duplicated accounts, different emails, you moved out, your wife, your girlfriend, etc. I have 3 PayPal accounts. Does that mean that PayPal is a fraud when reporting, transacting active users themselves? No. Why would that be a fraud? It's true. I have 3 accounts and sometimes I use all 3 because it's linked with different addresses, different emails. What's the issue here? That's no issue. Duplicated accounts on Instagram, countless of people have duplicated accounts, on Twitter, you name it. On virtually every other platform, people will have 1 or 2, maybe even more accounts out there. Does that mean that every company is suddenly a fraud? No. But I'll have to agree with other things that they mention here. So, Cash App's user tracking software shows that many users have dozens or even hundreds of accounts, suggesting reported user metrics are vastly inflated. Again, they show us here a screenshot from Cash App's CRM, which is going to be important for the next point that I do agree with them when it comes to blacklisting fraudulent users, for example. But again, duplicated accounts, there's no reason why this should be fraudulent. Okay, we continue. We go down, they talk about Web of Lies, starts with a user's ability to create an account with just an email address or phone number, because they did say you don't really need another bank account to create a Cash App, let's say, profile, know your customers and all these verifications. Wasn't the case at first. And again, this is during Block's Q2 2017 earnings call. Jack Dorsey explained how the company relies on automated technology to assure the safety of its platform. We've used machine learning and data science to manage risk since the beginning of Square. We're constantly looking for ways to make our services more automated and more self-serve, and machine learning is perfect for that. Of course, we've seen the case with Twitter, lots of bots, people impersonating some other people. Clearly, Jack Dorsey, again, cannot lead any company. And this is where I have to agree with them, which I think just doesn't make any sense. Block would blacklist accounts, but not individuals, making it easier for bad actors to get back on the platform. So again, they give us here a screenshot from Eternal Platform, so basically another CRM maybe screenshot. And you can clearly see the account under review shares a social security number with a blacklisted account and was set up with the same device as more than a dozen other accounts, including 2 additional blacklisted accounts. This just doesn't make any sense. If you blacklist someone, if it's fraudulent, if he did something against the law or against the policies, he should not be able to create another account. It just doesn't make any sense. On YouTube, if you get, the perma-ban, the ban hammer, you cannot create a new account with the same name, the same address or whatever. Just not possible anymore because they don't want you, again, on the platform using another alias. Logical thing to do. Here in this case, apparently that's not the logical thing to do, which again makes no sense to me, and again lack of leadership here. And we continue with my agreement with them. So examples of obvious fake identities abound. Jack Dorsey has multiple accounts, including some that appear aimed at scamming Cash App users. There are dozens of Elon Musk and Donald Trump fake accounts as well. Of course, your cash tag will be different. Right, you can see, cash tag will be different, but your name on screen is still Jack Dorsey, which, fine, there might be a lot of Jack Dorseys around the world, or a lot of John Smiths as well. Okay, but the amount of people called Elon Musk here is already questionable, right? Then if you scroll down, you can see you can send amount of money when using the name Elon Musk, and you're sending it from Donald J. Trump's account. Again, if you're using machine learning, AI, etc., and this doesn't catch it, then your system really doesn't really work correctly. You can even get a cash card with the name Donald J. Trump. I mean, again, okay, there is maybe a possibility that someone has the same name as the ex-president. But after a while, you have to catch on to those things, right? I mean, they're just sleeping at the wheel at this point. I'll just say this, sometimes these short reports are good for one thing and one thing only, is to wake management up, to show that, look, there are real problems right now. And if you don't fix it, then probably a lot of other short reports will come out, and maybe it will be truthful and it will hurt the company even more. Just putting it out there. Then again, they talk about the transacting active users here. Very, very misleading. Again, this is not the first time I can see or anyone can see this metric being mentioned in an earnings report, transacting actives. They never said, it's never mentioned that this is just one individual person that does not have duplicated accounts. I mean, common sense should be used, I think, here. Continuing here, they're going to talk a lot about the loans that you got during COVID, the PPP loans, etc., and how some people took advantage out of that. Again, this is not just for Cash App. I've seen stories of people taking advantage of it, Ross Gerber, and, well, doing whatever they want. Of course, since with Cash App you can have direct deposits, it's very, very easy to then trick the system, take the money out, and you can't really get that money back if you're a bank or another counterpart, for example. We're near the end here, don't worry. Compliance lapse, another issue here that they found with regards to Cash App not running address verification and safety checks intended to catch identity theft, just as unemployment fraud exploded. Again, this is things that maybe happened before, got corrected. Of course, should not have happened firsthand. I agree with that. But then again, they go back to a song. The song, Precise by Money Man, describes filling mailboxes in an Atlanta neighborhood with Cash App cards. I mean, are you really basing your research on rap songs right now? Who says that this is the truth? We don't know. Again, basing a lot of your research on just rap songs from rappers who aren't really Einsteins, if we're being honest, to me, makes no sense. We go back here, right? Rapper Nuke Bizzle. Again, another topic here about rappers. It's really mind-blowing how ridiculous most of this report sounds. Some of the report is true and might have been truthful before as well, has been corrected, but a lot of this is based on just pop culture and how they are attacking pop culture. Laisse tomber. I'll touch on two extra things here. One, executives selling shares. Two, Afterpay acquisition. Now, of course, they come out here and attack the executives, which again, insider selling, we've seen this a lot in the last 2 years, right? A lot of it had to do with the stock price hitting a certain price target. And secondly, just executive selling because, well, why not, right? Block CEO Jack Dorsey and co-founder Jim McKelvey went on a selling spree during the pandemic, offloading more than $1 billion in Block share. Yes, of course, this happens across the board, by the way. Microsoft did the same, Zuck did the same. Probably all of the executives did the same during that period of time. So signaling out just Jack Dorsey and the co-founder, again, doesn't make a lot of sense. But I did talk about the fact that Jack Dorsey has amassed a couple of billions of dollars in the last couple of years, while saying he's very, very focused on the unbanked. So they are basically saying, well, he's profiting off the fact that these people are unbanked just to make himself richer and then focus on his goal of Bitcoin becoming whatever. They do have a point here, and of course, I am now a bit biased because I dislike Jack Dorsey to a level couldn't have imagined a couple of years ago. And now Afterpay. So they talk about Afterpay, the acquisition here, $29 billion deal to acquire Afterpay. By the way, this was an all cash deal. So because Square's stock price also plunged, it cost them less. Just putting it out there. So a buy now, pay later service that management says offers customers responsible payment options. Reality, the service was created to avoid responsible lending regulations in its native Australia. Yes and no. So in Australia, you have to conduct credit scores, etc. Now, to be able to offer this right here, they do not require you to submit credit scores, your past loans, etc. So that's why they were able to grow this fast and grow the business to, well, the size it has been. Now in Australia, they're obviously going to tackle buy now, pay later. It's a whole other story. They say here, Afterpay does not need to perform credit checks or income verification, typically required for traditional loans, due to technicalities such as charging fees rather than interest and limiting the length of its loans to 8 weeks. They're able to do what they're doing. Again, this is not illegal. A lot of high-tech companies found loopholes, and that's why they became very, very popular. Okay, now, they say here, with no credit checks or income verification, Afterpay lures customers into extending beyond their needs, which basically means people look, oh, I can buy stuff and pay later, not really responsible. We'll see later on if I actually have to pay for it. Okay, this might work once, won't work twice. How do I know this? Well, last year's Investors Day presentation, they said that over 90% of Afterpay customers use debit, 95% of all installments were paid on time, and 98% of all purchases incurred no late fees. They even say it on the site. Accounts are paused when customers miss a single payment. They cap the late fees, so if you're late, it's not going to be $1 million at the end. We increased customer limits only as good repayment behaviors are demonstrated. So of course, it's easy to criticize buy now, pay later because yes, we've seen other companies that are very profitable, that have other rules out there as well. And it's a service that is very, very easy to be misused as well, right? You buy now, you just pay later. As humans, we tend to forget or like, free stuff right now, I'll deal with the stuff later. But the numbers here are facts. Most of the people pay on time, if not all. Late fees are capped. So to say that suddenly you will owe them an exuberant amount of money because they're late is just untrue. Of course, you're not paying interest, so you don't really know how much you're going to pay if you're late. But then again, don't be late. You won't pay any late fees. Pretty easy as that. And as your behavior becomes better, so will your experience with buy now, pay later. Maybe you get to buy now more and pay later. Depends on your behavior. Again, this incentivizes good behavior, not bad behavior, because you behave bad once and you're done with the service. I think that's a big difference between Afterpay and maybe other services out there. If the incentives are do whatever you want, you will just have to pay a bit more later on, but you can do this over and over, then of course people will trick the system. But if there is incentive to behave correctly, and if you don't behave correctly, you're done with the system, then why would anyone do this? To me, it just doesn't make sense. Anyways, too long of a video right now. Overall, some things that were mentioned in this short selling report make sense, should be tackled, but most of it, to me, is just ridiculous. Plain ridiculous, another coup of Hindenburg to profit of their short position. We've seen this countless times before as well. To me, Square Block, still a very, very good business. Of course, like I said before, I do want to see profitability during this year, cut some costs and continue to grow. Growth clearly is not the case, and having duplicated accounts isn't fraud, although they mentioned fraud 120 times here in this report. And rap songs, don't even want to talk about that. Anyways, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.